Sunday Night Football is going pretty well. We're going to move on to Monday Night Football NFC East matchup between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your NFL Monday Night Football Showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about the TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon if you want more DFS betting and fantasy football advice. All of those links will be provided down below. Before we deep dive into the slate, let's start off with the injury report. If we're looking at both sides of the ball, Dallas Cowboys, not really an extensive injury report at all. The only news that we have is going to be Dalton Schultz is questionable as of right now. The last update was on Saturday. If he's out, then you're going to be looking at Jake Ferguson. He becomes a punt play in this particular matchup going up against the Giants. So as a bottom flex, if Schultz is out, Jake Ferguson, remember him. Micah Parsons is currently listed as questionable. We will see how the walkthroughs go and the warm-ups go on Monday, and we'll get an update on that. And obviously that will affect the Cowboys defense. On the Giants side, Kayvon Thibodeau, their rookie defensive end, will be most likely suiting up. He's currently questionable. Everything's trending towards that he's going to play. So right now you'll get the full thumbs up on a Monday. Other news, Wan'Dale Robinson is currently ruled out. So they're missing two wide receivers, two slot wide receivers in Wan'Dale Robinson, their rookie, and Kadarius Toney, who's their best wide receiver, most talented wide receiver. He's going to be out as well. Leonard, and that was last week. So yeah, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Leonard Williams misses practice. Everything else from there, the big question is going to be the wide receiver group. All right, so let's move over to the slate here. Start off at the captain position. With that type of big news that you're getting from the Giants side, they are really missing out on some playmakers. All right. Starting off at the captain will be Saquon Barkley. Barkley is going to get a ton of usage. He needs to be utilized in each and every one of your lineups because, number one, they have no Wan'Dale Robinson, no Kadarius Toney. It's pretty much David Seals, Sterling Shepard, and Richie James. Saquon Barkley is clearly the best offensive asset that they have on the team. Danny Dimes is going to need to rely on Saquon Barkley. The line is going to have to get things moving to go against a very tough Dallas defense, okay? Barkley at 17,700, I have no problem putting him at that captain spot. Definitely going to have a nice share of him in the captain. Let's see if we find some other captains that are going to be gems for this week on Monday Night Football. CeeDee Lamb is getting a nice amount of usage. We thought there was going to be a drop switching over to Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush looks like he can manage a game. He's not going to do anything spectacular. He can get the ball to his pass catchers. That's going to be CeeDee Lamb, and that's going to be Noah Brown. So CeeDee Lamb came through with 7 receptions, 11 targets, 75 yards. If Dalton Schultz is out, there's another guy that's going to be receiving easy catches, easy throws, having him being utilized in that slot, open in space. CeeDee Lamb is going to be dangerous one-on-one. I like him as a sneakier option at the captain spot. If we're going for the QBs, we have Cooper Rush and we have Daniel Jones. I think both of these guys are pretty much game managers. Daniel Jones has upside with his legs. If we're going to look at, let's look at this really quick. I'm going to do this live. Daniel Jones, DKP, by game log, versus Cowboys last 5 games. All right, let's see if he has a good history against this particular team. Fantasy wise, it's pretty bad. So we got a 0.2, a 14.8, a 9.2, a 16.9, and a 40, and a 4.8. So nothing over 20, barely over 15. I don't think I'm going to be looking towards him in this particular format at captain. Maybe you can fill him in as a flex. I don't think he's going to earn that captain spot. That goes for Cooper Rush as well. I think we can skip over these two, even though Cooper Rush could be very, very sneaky. We're gonna skip both of those two QBs, and Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones. Let's go continue on with the Dallas side of the ball. We have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Okay, both of these guys are going to be viable at the captain position. Everyone's going to flock to Tony Pollard because we saw, obviously, he has more explosiveness, and we saw that nice run from last week where he went for that touchdown, 9 for 43, 1 TD, 4 receptions, 55 yards, being very, very productive. If you want to get contrarian and flip it over and go to Zeke over Pollard if you had to, that can be something definitely that you can go towards. If we just look at, let's see Zeke. Hold on. I know Zeke has a good history. Hold on. Ezekiel Elliott, DKP, by game log versus Giants. Last 5 games. I'm pretty sure that's what it's been up and down. Okay, we got a 16.9, 23 of 15, 28 and 16. We got a nice floor with Ezekiel Elliott. And remember, this is going to be a Cooper Rush offense. They're not going to lean on him throwing the ball for 40 to 50 times. They're going to need to use the running game. Like I said, we're going to be going off the Pollard chalk and going on to Zeke. This can be very sneaky. He has a good history going up against the New York Giants anyway. He's going to see double-digit carries, and there's an opportunity he can get in the end zone. So Zeke and Pollard are going to be up there. If you want to be more contrarian, I would prefer Ezekiel Elliott. All right, but I love both options. As captains, to go any further, I can bring up Sterling Shepard because of the double-digit targets that he received in week 2. We saw a big performance from him in week 1 from that long, deep pass, 65 yards and a touchdown from Sterling Shepard. So we got a high usage and we got a deep touchdown from Sterling Shepard. That can go a long way in these one-game showdown slates. So Sterling Shepard, with no other help, definitely someone we could look at for the captain position. If we really need to go any further, I think I'm going to stop right there for the captains. Let's move over to the flex positions. And we're going to start there with Noah Brown and Michael Gallup. So Michael Gallup, obviously, I'm just bringing him up because he is going to be a factor. He might play this week on Monday Night Football. We are not going to play him, all right? This is his first game back. Obviously, from that knee issue, he's not going to get a lot of usage, but he can be a factor to simmer down all the expectations for Noah Brown, okay? So I love Noah Brown. I like what I saw out of him against the Bengals, 5 for 51, 91 yards and a touchdown. Michael Gallup is going to probably fix in just a couple snaps here and there just to bring him up, but Noah Brown should be fine as a flex. And Cooper Rush and Noah Brown are going to have a good connection together because those two have been practicing all year long, the year prior, because Noah Brown isn't the starter, all right? Cooper Rush being a backup and Noah Brown being a backup, they have that connection as that number 2 team offense that comes in for the Dallas Cowboys, all right? So we see it in preseason, and now it's coming over to the regular season. 9 targets in week 1, 5 targets in week 2. This might be your last chance to play Noah Brown, okay, before Michael Gallup gets really, really started, all right? Dalton Schultz can be a lock at the crown as well as the top guy because he's going to get a ton of usage. It just counts on if he's going to play or not. If he's in, then we're going to move him up to captain, to flex. He's going to be viable in those areas, but definitely wait on more news from their leading tight end, okay? All those easy dump-off passes, that's going to go to Dalton Schultz. If he's out, that's more CeeDee Lamb, more Tony Pollard, and Ezekiel Elliott are going to get those very easy catches. Kenny Golladay somehow recorded a good practice on Friday. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to play Kenny Golladay. He is a shell of himself. If we're going to continue to go down for this, we're going to find some more gems down here. The other wide receivers for the Giants are going to be Richie James. He's been consistent in the first 2 weeks, filling in for Kadarius Toney as he gets acclimated to the new offense and playbook. 5 for 51. and 5 for 59 in the first 2 games. This is your generic slot guy. Has some speed, has capabilities to take it to the house. Just hasn't got that much of a red zone work because obviously this Giants team has been struggling in those areas. But Richie James is going to be valid at 5,400. If we want to get really, really cute, then we have David Sills as the number 3 wide receiver for the Giants. He received 3 receptions, 37 yards. And he could be someone sneaky at your bottom flex down there in the last 2 spots. You want to get someone that's going to be contrarian. David Sills can be a guy that you can look toward. So we'll put him in the flex pool. We have Richie James. We have David Sills. Let's continue to go down. In this particular game, I'm going to be leaning on the kickers and defenses in this one. We have Cowboys defense that I'm going to choose first. And this is a road team, okay? This is a road defense. I like what they are bringing to the table going up against Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones has a propensity of turning the ball over. Obviously, this can be flipped, and you can go with the Giants defense going up against a backup in Cooper Rush. But this is more of a veteran in Cooper Rush, all right? Daniel Jones, we've seen fumbles, we've seen trips and falls, we've seen interceptions, a ton of things that can happen for a very advantageous defense. This was the number 1 scoring defense last year in the Cowboys, and now they're going up against Daniel Jones, who loves to turn the ball over. I'm definitely going to have pieces of that defense, okay? If I had to choose, all right? So Cowboys over Giants for the defense. And kickers, we got Graham Gano and we got Brett Maher. Both of these are going to be viable. We got a backup quarterback, and we got Daniel Jones that can't finish drives. Both of these guys have potential to putting up double-digit fantasy points. As you can see in this game against Carolina, low scoring. They couldn't score touchdowns. Graham Gano comes in with 17 fantasy points. So he's someone that we can look at. And then Brett Maher for the Dallas Cowboys. We're not expecting Cooper Rush putting up a ton of touchdowns. And he came through in week 2 with solid field goal kicking and 12 fantasy points. So in these small slates, in these one-off situations, we need guys that can get you a potential of double-digit fantasy points. And Graham Gano, Brett Maher are going to be those guys. Let's see if we can find some more salary savers down here. David Bellinger was able to get a touchdown last week. But it was only off of 1 catch. So we would like to see more usage from him. That's going to be a dart throw at flex. I don't highly recommend him, but I'll put him in the pool. Just so you guys know. If we go in cheaper than that, Simi Fehoko, not really. Myrick. The Giants are running 3 tight ends. That's why I only see 1 catch for David Bellinger. And then we have Jake Ferguson down here. He becomes a value if Dalton Schultz is out. So if we're just looking at this lineup, the farthest I would go down is the kickers and defenses. If you want to throw a dart, you can throw at the wide receiver 3 for the Dallas, which is Simi Fehoko, or go David Bellinger. But from there, it's pretty ugly. So the guys we're going to focus on before we get out of here for this slate will be starting at the top. Love Barkley. Barkley needs to be owned in our lineups. I like Zeke over Pollard. Definitely want to be contrarian there. CeeDee Lamb is going to get a ton of work. I think we can focus our lineups right here around these 3 guys and then fill in some others to fill in that flex. Or if you want to switch around the captain, definitely get creative there. Remember, I like Dallas Cowboys defense as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right, peace out.